And we're back with another new episode, and this one's a big one, and I apologize guys, this one's a little long. I tried to get it quicker, but I wanted to show you guys the mistakes I made, and because it's honestly an honest mistake I figured out, and I think it needs corrected in the NEI. It's just NEI kind of set me astray on this one instead of following the quest book. So keep an eye on the quest book. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. It usually still tells you though in the description of the quest of what you need and what you don't need. If you click the NEI for the EBF controller, it tells you to use ULV hatches. Do not use ULV hatches. It will blow up in your face. So you want to use your LV hatches, the LV Energy Hatches that it recommends in the quest book. So make sure you use that. You can though use the ULV hatches for everything else. If that's cheaper for you, which it should be because it's not steel and it's just a single wrought iron plate and some wood planks for a lot of that. All my other hatches were made with the ULV. All the energy hatches definitely need to be LV because they can accept the full voltage, unlike the ULV ones. The ULV ones are stuck to 8, and that is just not enough for an EBF. I don't even know why you would recommend it. You would need a bunch of them. We got it figured out finally. It was quite a process and a lot of trial and error. We ended up though having to complete a few more things than I was hoping we would today. So we had to get into getting some batteries. We had to get a canner to make the batteries, and we ended up needing that just to make a soldering iron to hook up to the EBF. So we didn't have to make more energy hatches and hook up even more power than we need to because it's kind of unnecessary. And this was pretty easy. It actually had a vein pretty close by that we already found, so it wasn't that big of an issue to get a soldering iron. But yeah, in this one we're gonna end up making our EBF, everything involved in it. The only thing I didn't show you guys was crafting the original alloys, but I pull them all up and I show you guys everything you need to mix and how to mix them. I tell you the machines you need to make, basically the minimum to get you to this point. There's only a couple machines you actually need. It's actually not that far once you get into the LV to be able to start using this. You can decide on what you want to do with which holes and hatches and whatnot for the energy. Pay attention, make sure you grab these LV energy hatches that accept up to 2 amps, and you need 2 of them. You need 3 of them if you want to try to be lazy and not get a soldering iron, because when you set up your EBF, it's gonna have some problems. They all start with problems, and you need every tool in your kit to fix it, and that includes a soldering iron. Stick around, I will show you guys how to make all of these. Most of it's actually not that bad. Getting the EBF set up can be a little frustrating, so I would recommend do what I did. Wait for it to back up before you set it up the first time. Know that everything you just crafted is safe and sound, and then you could set it up and give it a whack. That way you can just back it up. You still have all your crafts done. You don't have to sit there and spend another half a day crafting stuff again just because you had to back it up. Wait till the end. Like I said, don't just follow along right away. Don't follow my freaking first craft for the energy hatches. You don't need the lead stuff. You need the steel one. Look into the LV hatch. Use the LV hatch. Don't blow it up in your face a couple times like I did, wondering why the heck it's not working. That is exactly what it was. It was just those dang energy hatches. Now it works great, and we got our aluminum cooking now just fine. Stick around, I will show you all of that and a little bit more. My name's Gregtech, and this is Gregtech New Horizons, episode 17. So in order to make our EBF, we actually need to make a few new different metals or alloys. There's a few that we need. So over here on our left is everything we're gonna need to make our EBF. We need 16 of these copper nickel coil blocks. We need a maintenance hatch. We need 2 output hatches. We need 9 fireproof heat casings. We need a ULV energy hatch. We need an ULV input bus, a ULV output bus, and a muffler hatch for the LV. A lot of that is made with stuff we already have. We do need to make lubricant, so we're going to have to look into that process today too. Refined glue is pretty easy, so there's only really a few machines that hold you back from getting your EBF. You need a centrifuge. That will get you your glue. That will get you most of these dusts that we're trying to make. You'll need a mixer, and you'll need a bending machine. You can use your steam alloy smelter, so that is fine. Really, that's the 3 main things you need before you can actually make an EBF. And you obviously need a fuel source and generators for it. We're going to talk about that later because EBF isn't like anything we've hooked up yet before. This takes a tremendous amount of power. So we actually need to run some bigger cables, because if we use a normal 1X cable, it's just going to catch fire and burn. We don't want to do that. All the different alloys that we ended up making, I've started making these last night because they just take a while to be centrifuged centrifuged and ran through the mixer. Cupronickel, you need a good bit of this. You need 4 stacks of this to make the minimum amount of coils, because you got to make double wire out of it, not just single wire. So it's either 2 or 4 stacks, I'm not sure, because it says we need, see, that didn't update right when I added this last night. So if you look at this at your multi-block structure tab, once you click on the electric blast furnace like controller itself, it pops up on the left everything you need to make it, and it shows you layer by layer how to build it even. So let's start by making our coils. It's probably the most complicated part. This and the heat casing. Everything else, it's already stuff we already have and have made for the most part. The glue's easy. All you gotta do is just stick resin or slime balls through a centrifuge and you get glue as a byproduct. So yeah, you'd need your centrifuge to make the glue. Get that from your resin or your slime balls. In order to make this, we need to make cupronickel wire. And cupronickel wire, it's just like we made all the wires before. You can use your wire mill and send a whole ingot through to get 2, or you can send a rod through to get 1. So that's still the same ratio. You might as well just ingot it, save yourself some time. And as long as it's on a 1, you'll get 2. And we need to make 128 of these doubles. So it's 256 single ones. So that's 4 stacks. Well, 2 stacks, because it gives you 2 if you use an ingot. So if we take our ingots, and I made this stuff's actually really easy to make. So if you look at the dust, you need a mixer still. That's why I said you need a few machines to actually craft all this stuff now. So you need nickel dust and copper dust on a 3 circuit, and that will give you 2 cupronickel. So I did that last night, but now if we come to our wire mill, we want it on 1, right? I don't think you go straight to 2 with the wire mill, can you? Oh shoot, you can. All right, so we need to put it on 2. So if you go to 2, save ourselves the time and just go straight to the big one, and eventually it'll spit it out down here. And there's our 2x wire. So we're gonna let these keep crafting while we work on some other things, because we need to make this mica stuff. And the mica was a bit interesting to make. So in order to make mica foil, well, mica sheets, you need a forming press. So we're gonna actually use our forming press again now. You can't do the bigger recipe, so don't even try. Just do 1 asbestos dust to 4 mica pulp. And the asbestos, if you remember right, you can find that in your tin veins. So in these garnet tin veins, you will find asbestos. For the actual mica base sheet, I believe I have some. We can start to craft that too. But now if we go get our mica pulp, which is in here, I made this last night. So the mica based pulp is not too bad. It's just mica dust, so you gotta find a mica vein. And yeah, I found the 2 below the garden, which is perfect. And if you notice, there's 2 different recipes in your mixer. The first one's 1 sticky resin, the second one is 2 rubber dust. It's worth your time to extract your rubber dust from your resin before you do it, because you get 3 dust from 1 resin. So this is technically a better deal, the 2 rubber dust instead of the 1 resin, because this would give you 3 rubber dust. But now what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna take some of this. We need to go back into our mixer here, and if we looked at it, so actually we gotta go into the forming press, my bad. So we need our asbestos and 4 pulp per 1 asbestos dust. But let's try to do a whole stack if we can. So we just gotta put it on 1. That's all we have to do. So let's throw in one of these, so it knows what to kick in right away. It doesn't just kick in both of the same. It's usually smart enough not to. Oh wait, I got these backwards. These ones go underneath. I still gotta fix these. These are still on steam power. I've been, streaming the last couple days. I had a 12-hour stream a couple days ago, which was where we set up most of this, and that was actually quite the stream, so that's worth checking out. It was pretty fun. Yeah, we're getting the power figured out. We're ended up powering everything off creosote now, was my thought process. I ended up going with the semi-fluid generators. I think I mentioned these to you guys, how to generate power here. Once you get into the LV, it opens these up, and yeah, I looked into the semi-fluid. It's fuel efficiency of 95%, so it's pretty dang fuel efficient. Like, they hardly take anything to run. I built a big tank for creosote. I just have generators, so it's easier. There's a generator here, there's 3 here, so there's gonna be 1 for each 2, and then for the power hungry machines, they're gonna be in the middle and have their own dedicated generator behind it. So there's a generator right there facing right into it, so it doesn't even need a cable, because it is kind of neat that output hatch, if you face that into a machine directly, it doesn't need a cable. So that's how I have my miners set up, but they can only have 1 output side. So like in this scenario, they have cables, and then underneath I just have have, kind of neat actually, we figured this out. If you put the machines on auto output and set the output to the bottom, put a pipe beneath it and connect the pipe to the machine, it will actually put it into the pipe and use the pipe speed. And we actually have to take it one step further with them. So now we need to take the sheets and we need to take them to an alloy smelter. There's a few different options you have here. If you've already done well in the nether for the quartz vein, for the quartzite vein, you could use Certus, nether, or quartzite dust as an option. But I looked into the silicon dioxide because it's actually really easy and dirt cheap to make. It just takes some time. If you want silicon dioxide dust, you can get it from flint dust. That was what I did. I just ended up turning a ton of gravel into flint. I didn't even care to make mortars because gravel is cheap if you just break down cobble. Smash your cobble with the forge hammer, you get gravel. So if you just do a ton of cobble, you will have a ton of gravel. So I just did the cheap way and 3 stacks of cobble to make 1 stack of flint, but I didn't even care. And then I did a bunch of that. I ground it all up, ran it through the centrifuge. If you run flint dust through your centrifuge, you get silicon dioxide. But if we grab some more plates and let's just run over to the alloy smelter and try this. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a machine one. So I don't have a machine one yet. I'm still using my Steam one. So if you go over to your Steam one, it will work. I got all these connected now too. I'll show you guys this. I got all of my pipes connected with the pumps, and I have pumps pumping out the creosote, I have pipes pulling out the charcoal, and I have the brown ones coming from the roof that's pumping in wood. So I'm kind of color coding all this stuff, but I have this, it's kind of still making rubber. We can stop it for a minute, put in our mica sheets, and we put in our silicon dioxide. We'll get these insulator sheets, and yeah, we need quite a few of them. We need 54 of them, so we need 8 foils per thing, and the foil you get just from smashing these insulator sheets in a bending machine, and that'll give us 4 per, which is not bad, and we need 8 per coil. So these are per coil. That's what's showing over here is the per coil recipe. We also need molten tin, so we need to look into setting up a fluid extractor, which is perfect. I get to show you guys then how I end up setting up all these machines and how to connect them up and do all that. It's really easy. These now we'll go to our bending machine. Nice part is I could actually sit here and run them all now. It's still a work in progress. I was trying to get it all done before I started recording for you guys, but I'm just struggling on time, so you guys are gonna have to deal with some ugly build progress here and there. I'm sorry. If you want to hear, it's on a 1 circuit, so we're good there. But this gives us our insulator foil, and this is perfect because now we have our wires over here. If we check our wire mill, we have our cupronickel, gosh, 2x cupronickel wire. Gosh, that is a mouthful. Cupronickel. But that's just copper and nickel. That's easy to make. If you look at its dust, I think we looked at it. It's just copper and nickel. The Invar is just nickel and iron. It's 2 iron and 1 nickel, and that gives you Invar dust. I mixed that up in the mixer too, and we have that ready. We actually got to go melt that. Let all these keep doing their thing, and we'll be able to craft these coils here soon. And then we'll do the casings, because the Invar we need to make a bunch of plates and rods out of. Because if you notice, we need frame boxes, and that's all rods. And you can make it cheaper in an assembler, so we're gonna do that because you only need 4 for 1 instead of 8, but this does give you 2, so I guess it's the same because now the rest of it's pretty easy. The controller is 3 iron furnaces, a heat-proof machine casing, which is what we're making with the Invar stuff, some microprocessors, some cables. The biggest pain in the butt, honestly, it seems like to make is gonna be the energy hatch and the maintenance hatch. The coils are gonna be a bit just because of the molten tin. We need to make a fluid extractor. I do not even have one yet. So if you look at our LV line, I really haven't done much since the last one when I showed you guys the progress update. Machine wise, I've just been collecting resources and getting everything ready. The only really thing I've made is the miner over here. This is kind of like hidden. This should be a big quest. I don't know why they would hide this and make this all small. I mean, they're not hiding it. It should be a bigger thing than it is because this thing is a time saver and a resource saver. You don't have to keep going and mining. Just set these up, come back, keep working on your build and, you know, setting up your machines while those are doing their thing and keep checking on them. Bring the stuff back, break it down, and while that's happening, go set it up again, come back, finish doing what you were doing, and just keep the process going. You will never really have a problem after that. So this has been amazing. I'm so happy I saw this. I completely stopped what we were doing on the stream. I'm like, hold up, we need one of these. We made it, went and set it up. It's really easy. You just set it on the ground. It holds 2 stacks of pipes. So the pipes are kind of costly. This is where it gets a little pricey because you got to make these out of steel pipe, out of steel fluid pipes. It could be any size. It's a process. It takes a while to make them, but it's absolutely worth it. I ended up making enough to make 2 2 miners, and I made 4 stacks of the mining pipe. And yeah, I just run around, set them down, slap a gold chest on top of them. You got to wrench it first so it outputs out of the top. Slap your chest on top of it. Make sure the chest can be open so you can check on it, and put a roof over them. Don't forget, cover them up if they're outside, like in the open and not underground, and just go to town with them. It's pretty cool, actually. So if we look at a fluid extractor, takes a piston, a pump, a machine hole, 2 processors, 2 tin cables, and 2 glass. Oh yeah, we gotta get our glass. Don't have straight glass in there. I have some here though. Need to keep a little in there. A lot of these machines need glass just for their faces, I'm guessing. But that's our fluid extractor. So let's go make some rods and plates with this. So this is still in 1, so we're fine to stick this in. We need to make, let's do a stack, and then the lathe should be, yeah, lathe will be fine. Let's set this up so I could show you guys this. Oh, let's put it next to our assembler for now. So if you already have a generator and you know how you're getting your power, either if you have a generator or a cable, so you're gonna want to connect to it somehow. So I use the tin cables because they're lossless. If you use the red ones, they give you some loss over distance. Well, no, I got that backwards. The red ones are lossless, but they only can do 8 EU. So they're not ideal, honestly. We get better cables as soon as we make our EBF. We get these other red alloy cables, and they are actually lossless across the distance. So then you wouldn't need generators this close. You'll realize a lot of these take a good amount of power, and if you want to just keep them all going and not have to pick and choose which machine you want to run, you might actually want to consider setting something up like this. At least 2 to 1 like this. Sometimes you might still have to watch out and keep an eye on them, but it's fine most of the time. But let's take our extractor and let's just shift click it onto here, and it'll auto connect itself to that cable now, because I already pulled the cable out. But even if you don't do that, usually if you click it onto a cable or a pipe, it will connect automatically. We're gonna want to we need to grab a conveyor. I'll show you how I did this setup. We need a conveyor on the top. You could do this other ways, like you could put a hopper on if you don't mind hoppers. I'm just not a fan of them. I'm trying to hide everything so I can put the cable covers on the pipes. You can put them on pipes, but you do need to use a screwdriver on them. So if you start putting these on and pipes start disappearing and like backing off of the chest or something, hit it with a screwdriver until it says items or fluids to match whatever you're trying to connect to, and then it should cooperate. I don't know why it does that. It's just really weird. So we want this top to be the input, and we want the bottom to be our output. So if you want the bottom to be an output and you don't want to dig underneath it, use your wire frame blocks. These are actually really set the pipe down. We can shift click it into the chest, so that's one less thing to click, and you can see the frame boxes. It tells you which sides are connected. This one isn't connected yet, so we right click it. Now it's connected, which is fine. But now we click up here. Yeah, we click up here with our conveyor, and that adds a conveyor. Now we want to open this, and we want it to import into the machine because it's attached to the machine, so it's going to import into it. So now we will take that, we will plop a chest on it, and this is fully functional. And you want to come into here, since we have our output set into the pipe and the pipe's connected, we can now enable this, and we are good to go. That's for any items at least. Fluids, I wanted to hold it because we're gonna collect everything in cells for now to move it over. So these little cells are your best friend. They're called large steel fluid cells, and they're not the cheapest thing to make. They really aren't, but they hold a good bit. It's 4 double steel plates and 4 bronze rings, and that gives you 1. So it is pricey, but they are absolutely worth it. They hold quite a bit. So there's our invert plates. Our lathe is halfway there, which is fine. It's almost halfway. Now we need to get a little bit tin. And this holds 16,000 on its own, so that would be 2 of these big cells. So don't be afraid to let this fill up a bit. We're gonna use these empty cells, and that gives us some molten tin, which we will need. So the frame boxes, it said it was 4 on the assembler. So if we go to our assembling machine, change this to 4, slap these in, we'll start getting frame boxes. Still need to go and fuse the rest of these sheets, do all of that mess. Okay, so there's all of our mica sheets. So there's our insulator sheets. So now we go to our bender. Need to get our bender bending again, and we'll get more foil. I think we're gonna need a little more invar to the assembler finish. How many to make? 11. We need 9 of them. Yep, so that's good. Okay, so this is done. Let's get this ready now for us. So we're gonna want this on number 3. Now we can put in our tin. That's 1,500. It said we're gonna need 2,300. There we go. We need oil and a wire, and let's add more up here so it stays full. And after like 10 minutes, we'll have all these. They're 10 seconds a piece. It's not bad. But look at that. We have our first coil blocks. We're making progress. And I already made generators to hook all this up. I have 7 extra semi-fluid, which is overkill. I made the 10 cables already, but I will show you this real quick. They're pretty easy. 4x 10 cable. You just take in an assembler. There's a couple ways you can do it. I just did the rubber sheets. Actually, it was the alloy smelter. That's what I used. So I made my tin wire, and the 4x tin wire you could do in an assembler or straight out of a wire mill. So if you do 2 tin ingots, it'll give you 1. And that's what I did. I just stuck in a few. It was quite a bit, but yeah, I stuck in a few. Put it on number 4, made the 4x, and then I stuck it in the alloy smelter with the rubber and made the coated wire. So it took a bit to make that, but you need to do that because if you don't, it will burn up connecting all these together and trying to power one of these. It will absolutely burn it up. Okay, let's see if we could make a few of these yet. So we need 9 machine proof casings. It'll let us make 11. I don't know if we need the extra for the controller or not, because it does take some. It takes 1 to make that, and it only wants 9. We have a ton of hatches, so I think that's most of the bottom layer is just hatches. It seems off still. I feel like we might want to make the 11. I mean, we have them. We might as well make them. We have our heat proof machine casings. Now we have everything we need to make our controller. So let's make our controller. Yay! Should have waited for that. I forgot that one's the one that gives you fireworks, actually. The coils are being made as we speak. So now we need to start making all the hatches. And the hatches are the fun, tricky part. Because the maintenance hatch, I think this is going to be the biggest pain in the butt. Because we literally have to make one of every tool to stick into it. We need to make a hammer, a soft mallet, a crowbar. We need to make a wire cutter, a saw, an LV machine hole. We need to make a wrench. We need to make a file, a hard hammer, and a screwdriver. I'm not sure if it will take ones that are damaged either. I think it wants brand new tools. There's an assembler way to do it, but yeah, we cannot do this. Now let's see if we can actually do that. Hey, it will take broken tools. That's kind of neat. If you have a bunch of tools about to make your hatch out of them, I guess. But hide everything we don't want it to take. I want it to take my good tools. Perfect. It's all broken tools and the weird random crowbar that we got from Railcraft. And that gives us our maintenance hatch. Oh, I thought it was gonna take them. I guess we gotta keep our junk. I was hoping it was gonna take all my crappy broken ones. Oh man, alright. So we can check this off the list. We can check off our heat-proof casings. We can technically check off these coil blocks because they're being made as we speak. What's next then? What about an output hatch? So we need 2 of these. And this just takes a ULV machine hole, an empty cell, and 2 program circuits with some refined glue. The ULV machine hole, these are new. We gotta start making these now, which are wood planks, wrought iron. We need to make lead cable. We haven't made any of the lead stuff yet. So this is all wrought iron, so we need to make a bunch of wrought iron. I already made 4. I was doing the math right after that. So let's sit here and make this last one. For now, I'm not gonna overcraft these. We're gonna wait. Now, our output hatch. So we need 2 empty cells, and I have glue in my backpack. What number did it say? Number 2. So we want to change that to 2. Dump our glue in, and it was 1 cell for both hatches. So we need 2 and 2. Oh, yeah, we gotta make them machine holes, actually. Huh. So we need to make lead cables. That we have not done lead wire yet. So in order to make lead cable, what do we need? We need lead wire and a rubber sheet. And the lead wire we can get from the wire mill. Stick leading it in, you get 2 on a 1 circuit. So let's do that. Put it on 1. We don't want big wires. We want little wires. This will get us our wires. And then we just have to make our cables themselves. So 1 to 1, still 1 to 1 if you do it in an assembler. Alloy smelter's 2 to 1, so it's kind of a rip-off. Let's come in here. Let's make some lead cable. Let's craft them. There's 30 of them. So now we can make our holes. We just gotta pull some wood planks out of our chest here. And boom, we have 5 machine holes now. So now we can go slap these in and start crafting this stuff. We will get this done. So we need 2 of these and 2 of these. Boom. There it goes. We're gonna have to pull our glue back out of here, but that's totally fine. I'm gonna try to get some in an empty cell, see if it'll let me pull it out that way in this. I hope it will, so I can complete this dang quest. I have glue and it won't give it to me because I put it in the big cell and not these little dang cells. Our coils are done, so there's both of our output hatches. Now we can check that one off. Next is our energy hatch, which needs 2 lead cables, a vacuum tube, a machine hole, some lubricant cells. This is where it's gonna get fun because we haven't made lube yet, so we need to make a distillery. We can do it with creosote. It's just a little slower. Okay, so what do we need to make a distillery? We need a pump, some tin cables, some glass. Boom, we have a distillery. What did it say that it's 30 EU? Oof, that stings a bit. For quick demonstration purposes, we're just gonna slap it here. We're not even gonna have it extract anything. It said it needed to be on a 24 program circuit. So if you don't want to scroll all the way down or up, you can shift left click and choose them. It's a lot quicker. So there's 24. Give it some creosote. Wow, this thing is noisy. So I made something for this because everyone told me it is one of the noisiest machines there is and that you may want to muffle it. So we end up making a muffler upgrade. So the muffler upgrade, it's this last one. Don't make these sound mufflers, but it takes, you don't have to use an aluminum plate. Don't even waste your aluminum on this. There's iron and wood pulp. It's on the 4th page. So these recipes are worth digging through and looking at because yeah, there are some that are just a rip off first thing, and if you look at it and just do that, you're ripping yourself off. You need to look through the recipes a bit. Hardly takes any EU too, and yeah, it makes a muffler upgrade. And then all we should have to do now is take this out, clicking on it. It takes a second. I don't know why it sounds like really delayed in this game, but it is for some weird reason. So yeah, this is gonna be a process. It's gonna take a while. I'm gonna have to check back in with you guys when this is done because it's quite a bit per one of these, if I remember right, because we need a full cell, and then yeah, it's 1,000. So this is gonna take a while. We will definitely have to let this run and do its thing. For you guys, it'll be nothing. Don't even worry. Nice, it takes a vacuum tube and not a processor. Well, a circuit. So if we go to our input bus, that's a baby chest, a machine hole, and some glue. In order to make a baby chest, you just shapeless craft a chest, and it gives you 9 baby chests, which is pretty neat. So we only need 1 chest for that. Boom, we got 9 little tiny chests. Now we just take a machine hole and a chest, it looked like, with the glue. Go to our assembler, just a chest and a hole. It's some glue. Come into here, put our glue in, and that was on a number 1. We don't even got to change anything. We just put 1 machine hole, 1 baby chest. So that'll finish the input bus, so we can check that one off. The output bus is the same thing, just on a number 2 circuit. So that's actually kind of easy. And I don't know if you could change the circuit in the middle of a craft. I have not tried it. I'm kind of afraid to try it. I don't want it to break anything and like void anything. So I've honestly never tried it. It looks like you can, but I'm not sure. Proceed with caution if you do. So this one should give us an output now, but there's our input and there's our output. So that one's done. We can check that one off. Last one is our muffler hatch. So our energy hatch is done. Now we need to do this muffler hatch, and the muffler is just an LV machine hole, a motor, a bronze rotor, and a bronze fluid pipe. Now we can make our machine hole. Do it in an assembler. It doesn't save you anything, so we're not gonna. There's our muffler hatch. That is everything I believe we need to make our EBF. So we get to pick one. See, I don't get it. This is saying like you could have used all LV stuff instead of ULV, but that is really nice. So let's claim this. We have room. Yeah, we do. Okay. This probably would be a good idea, but shoot, let's take the loot bags. We're gonna have a loot bag party day. All right. Simple PCB, 2 of them from Steve Carts. Nice. Oh yeah, I need to put these backpacks away. They make it really hard to tell what you get in your loot bags. Hamburger and diesel cells. Cool. I'll take some diesel. Some tracks. Alright. Not the greatest. Some vents. Okay. And a fan. Alright. We have a fan. PCBs and the diesel look nice. Let's try to set this up now then. For right now, I'm probably gonna do it. What the heck was that? That like hit the roof. What the heck? It's like something blew up. Ah, scared the heck out of me though. The thunder, it's so loud. So we need generators. We need 4 of them at least. We might need a 5th. I think 4 will be fine. We may need a 5th though, actually, but we will get to that point down the road if we need to. Let me dig down because we're gonna need to connect into this because this has creosote for us. And we are gonna need it to power these generators. Come here now, and we take 4 of these, plop them up. So our main line actually comes out over here. This is where we're gonna need to actually tie into. This is coming from the coke ovens right here. And we don't want that because I don't know if just the 1 coke, like 2 coke ovens would be enough. I don't think it would be. I also, hopefully still got my yellow paintbrush. I do. fix this finally. I meant to do this earlier. Cool thing is I figured out when you're painting pipes, you just have to watch out. If you have different pipes, like if you did it with these two, it would break this one and paint this one yellow. So be cautious, but there is a way to speed up painting. If you shift and face the direction you want the paint to go down, it will paint the whole line, as long as you have the paint. Kind of cool. Save you a bit of time. So this is our main line getting off, and this goes up to the roof. God, this thunder. I can hate the thunder in this game. Have it on 1% and it's still that loud. But okay, so these need fluid. So we need to connect a pipe from there basically over to here. The best part is if they're already painted, you don't have to worry. You can still connect to them. Like you saw, the original color will work, but you cannot connect two different colors together. It will break it and disconnect the line, which I found was actually kind of neat. I didn't think it would do that, but it does. So we need to shift it that way too, so it knows that it could send this direction. I just use the bigger pipe to get around. I know that I might potentially connect more generators in this area because this big pipe holds 6,000, does 6,000, and then the little ones are 2,000. So that's perfect to connect to the machines with the little ones, but the big one, it does make a nice little buffer. So we want to push this way, pull it out. We want to push this way, pull it out, but we also want them to push that way. So like that. You could do it on this face since we can't see that one, like I mentioned before. So you would just shift click it and then, so now those, if we connect a little one, they will have fuel and they'll be able to run as soon as anything requests power. But now we have this done, we could paint this, connect into each machine. And then you'll want to do the same with these. You'll want to tell them that you want it to push up. So this is where you're going to click these corners because you know, you can't get up to this. So you would click there and it just tells it where to go. Now all four are done. We need to grab just a... Oh wait, no, we have different cables for this. We definitely do not want to use those. So these 4X cables, if you hover over them, you'll see it max amperage of 4, and that's what we need. There's still a 32 volt, but you want the 4 amps. Each of these will only produce 1 amp themselves. So every single LV generator will only produce 1. So the only way you can power an EBF is with 4 in parallel together. So we will try this. But in theory, you should just be able to connect them up. Might rotate them up, have them go up to save on space right here. I think this is gonna end up replacing this because I don't really think we need these anymore. Double check this real quick before I blow everything up. Okay, so let's see the multi-block structure thing. It doesn't really say that it has to be in this exact spot because I was kind of hoping I could put the energy hatch on the back with the maintenance hatch because it wants the energy hatch in the front of it, which just looks silly having a cable all the way in front of it unless you just have it backwards and you just don't see the interface. But then I don't know how you check it. So I'm hoping we could put the energy hatch backwards. So let's try to craft it before we can, like, let's try to just see if we could place it down and if it'll form this way or not. So apparently that starts it on the block you're looking at. If you go and hit U, and you click into here and you click project multi-block, it will pop up this little neat pattern for you to follow. Hit 3 dot, 1 dot's an output, yeah, 2 dots energy, it said, right? Hit 2 dot muffler, okay, general's mandatory air. It doesn't last long though, which is weird. I don't know how to keep it there. I swear I've seen people that just, there's a way to keep it there. But that's fine, you can break it down by the layers. So it's just 3 heat-proof blocks, an output, an energy, the actual controller. So it's a 3x3x4, so it's like a blast furnace. So this will be our center. That's our controller. And then it wanted input hatch next to it, output bus, output hatch, maintenance hatch. I know the input it wants in the bottom on the center, like in the center, which is weird. I don't know if that's movable. That's the input bus. So we would put it there. It would obviously be, we would have to wrench this and tell it to face down so we can actually pull out of it. But I don't think these are too mandatory on where they go. I think some of them are. Like the muffler, I think has to be in the top on the center. I think the maintenance hatch does have to be on the back corner somewhere. Put it there. But I really want to try and put the energy hatch back here. See if we can get away with something else up front. That is a plain block. Now, if we pull this back up, still need an output bus and an output hatch. Then we need our energy hatch. That's the energy. We did that. So we need an output and an output bus. I wanted the output bus on this side. This is the bus. So there's our bus. Now we need to take one of the output hatches, put it there. What else did it want up front with it? Where's our input hatch? Did we not make an input hatch? I could have sworn we did. Gee, output input bus. We didn't make an input hatch? What the heck? Apparently not. What do I need to make that? Took a baby chest. This one needs a cell because it holds fluids. Okay, so we need to make one more hole, and yeah, the whole process. So we need our wrought iron again. There's our machine hole. Pull our glue back out of our bag. Give it an empty cell to keep. It's on a 1 circuit. Give it some glue. Give it our empty cell and our machine hole. And there we go. This output hatch goes on the top. Just feel like we made extra casings. Stick our input hatch down. Let's stick down a heat-proof block, and that should be our bottom layer. Now we just need 2 layers of coils, and it's supposed to be hollow in between these. Now we do our 8, actually no 8, because we need a output hatch on the top somewhere. We go back. You'll see there's an output hatch up top and a muffler in the middle. So we do have an extra, but that's fine. So we take our muffler, and you want it to face out. If it's blocked in here, it won't function. It says in the quest book, so make sure it faces upwards. Pull out your wrench and fix it. 2, 3, 4. Oh, I guess we didn't make extra. Never mind. Oh yeah, the output hatch. And boom. And it formed. Down due to incomplete structure. Is it just because of this? Is it literally just complaining that it has to have the power in the front? That's kind of silly. I think this is just what they say. I think when you originally set them up, you have to repair them. So you have to sit there and like go through this list. So a pipe is loose, so you'd have to go to your maintenance hatch. You have to click it with a wrench, maybe. Click with tool to repair. Okay, that worked. Screws are loose, so we need a screwdriver. So you just go up and right click it with all this tools, basically. There's your screwdriver. Oh, that didn't work. Open it, I guess. Click with tool to repair. Okay, yeah, you just gotta stick it in there. Something is stuck. Crowbar. What other tools? We got wire cutters. We have a hammer. I don't think it needs a hammer. Oh, it does take a hammer. And I think a soft mallet's the one we're missing. Circuitry burned out. Maybe we need a soldering iron because we don't have a soldering iron yet. We didn't take a soldering iron to make it, so it shouldn't need one to craft it. You wouldn't think. Let's grab our soft mallet. We already touched it with wire cutters. File maybe? We don't need to take a saw to it. It'd be weird. Soft mallet. Okay, it did use the soft mallet. Did it not register the wire cutters? The screwdriver didn't register the screwdriver. Circuitry burned out. Okay, how do you replace broken circuitry? I want to say it's probably a soldering iron. Okay, so I actually figured this out. We did something wrong here, and I know I did wrong. So the NEI, if you pull up the blast furnace in the NEI and look over here, it shows you the wrong hatches. I think the ULV input and all that is totally fine. I think it was just the energy hatch that was the issue, because yeah, I set that up and it definitely blew up in my face. I was sitting there reading the quest book a bit more. It says we actually are gonna need 2, and it recommends the LV ones. So I looked at the LV energy hatch. It's actually a little easier to make. You need some tin cables though, but then you make low voltage coils with fine steel wire instead of lead. I got all that ready again so we can make this, and let's make 2 of these. So we got the achievement. You need 2 of them. 3 if the EBF has maintenance issues. And it recommends the 3 because if you notice when we sit here fixing this, I ended up resetting it up and breaking it all, and yeah, it has to go through the process. But I ended up making a second ULV, and I tried that blew up in my face too. So that wasn't the problem. It wasn't just 2 hatches, it's the ULV. These only accept 8 ULV volts in instead of the 32 that we needed. So pumping in the 32, of course, is gonna make it blow up in your face no matter how many of them you add. I mean, the whole thing would have to be like energy hatches for that to work. So I don't get why the NEI would even recommend ULV. ULV is kind of like not really a thing anymore from my understanding, so I think that needs updated. I guess that was on me for not just listening to the quest book. I know half the time though, it's like hit or miss if the quest book tells you right or not. It's kind you can't win, so you definitely needed the LV. It says LV on all these, but I think it'll be fine because all these are optional anyway. The only thing it needed was the furnace, and we already got that completed. So I think the ULVs will be fine. It's just the energy. So now we could swap these out. we should be okay to connect up again. So we go there and there. Should accept it. And now the thing is, we need, if we can, bypass it for now. If we want to keep this on the shorter side for today and just make another energy hatch, do 3, but it says you need more power. So I have another thing ready and prepped in case we need to actually give it more power. We could try just setting a third one in there and see if it'll fire up with 3 with just 4, or if it genuinely needs another generator at that point. We'd have to still watch how we connect our cables so we don't overpower into anything, but I think it'll be okay. See, this says only accepts up to 2. If you need 3, then I think we would need 1 more generator, which I have the generator, so maybe we will just do that for this one and we could start batteries in the next episode. Otherwise, we have a bit of a task ahead of us. We'd have to make some battery holes, which I already made the battery alloy stuff. This is actually pretty easy to make. Check this out. It's just lead dust and antimony dust. And the lead you get in the Twilight Forest. The antimony, where did we get antimony from? We got it as a byproduct of something. Antimony dust from the centrifuge, tetrahedrite and stibnite, these 2. There is antimony itself, but yeah, we can't get just antimony itself yet. So I just centrifuged those because those came in, which vein was it? It was, oh, it's the one in the nether. It's the one the quest book makes you go for in the nether. This one gives you a bunch of copper. If you just smelt this down directly, it gives you copper. This one, if you smelt down, I think it just gives you straight antimony. But if you centrifuge it, you can kind of double it if you get lucky, which is nice. And this one, if you centrifuge it down quite a bit, you can get a lot of stuff out of this, actually. The first step of it, I centrifuged it down, and then, so yeah, if you use this one, if you centrifuge this, it gives you an 11% chance of antimony. Then you get your normal tetrahedrite dust. And if you centrifuge this stuff again in a stack of 8, it gives you 3 copper, an antimony, and this is all guaranteed, 3 sulfur and an iron. So I did that. I sent it through twice and got quite a bit of stuff out of that. So that was actually really nice. You get some extra iron because you do burn through a lot of steel. I think actually doing these hatches ULV, since it seems like it's going to accept them, I think we might have saved a bit doing that, because I believe all the LV ones would have been taking steel. So we ended up saving a little bit in the long run. Mistakes were made and a lot of time figuring it out, but that is fine. Because yeah, all these are made from steel. You get steel and wrought iron. The ones, the ULV, I was making out of just a single wrought iron plank and then wood planks. So that was actually kind of cool. I don't know if it's going to limit though, if it's going to work or not. We will still try it. I think our best bet is to honestly just get some lithium and make some batteries, because I already made all the stuff for it. I just need to make the cells and I have it all in here. So if we make a battery cell, because I just got to go move the miner to this salt vein, and that won't take long. It'll get a little bit, at least enough to fill a battery pretty quick, because you get lithium from this stuff, lepidolite. Yeah, lepidolite. It's in the salts vein, and I know where one is, just on the other side of the mountain. There is some in the Twilight Forest too, so you could always search in there. So honestly might be a little easier to find some things in there, but if you do go in there and try to use an auto miner, and if you've been powering them with steam and like a solar generator, you need to be aware that there's no sunshine in there, at least not when you start. We should get plenty of this if I just go set the miner over there. So I'm gonna do that while we make these. We will get some batteries made, because that's all we have to do. We have to make that, then we have to make a canner. The canner is just a pump, some cables, some circuits, and some glass. That's really cheap and easy. We would need to make another pump because I'm out of pumps, but that's fine. We can do that. There's some rotors just like that. We're good to go. Okay, it's been some time now, and I finally got everything ready now so we could make these batteries and get our soldering iron real quick. So we just have a few things we got to craft. So I had the miner go get this lepidolite, I believe is how it's pronounced, and I centrifuged just over a stack because it says it's an 11% chance, and I got 7. So it's, I think the percentages are kind of whack and way off, but that's not bad. That'll give us at least enough for the quest and to be able to progress past it. So we need to make our small battery holes, and like I already said, I already showed you guys the battery alloys and how to make it, and of course you just smash it up like normal in a bending machine. But then you take a saw a hammer and a file to it. And then it gives you a small battery hole. So if we come into our crafting table, come into here, you're missing the file. It's in my backpack. All right, come in here. We're gonna make a few of them. Let's make 5. Now we should be able to complete this. There we go. And this gives you the ores. So if you want to go find some of the other ones that you can't find, you can pick one of them. Yeah, let's grab that one. Loot bags have been kind of bad today, so let's grab some ores that we know we need to get. So now in order to fill these, we need to make a canner, a basic canning machine. And the basic canning machine is actually pretty cheap. It's just a LV machine hole, which we've made a ton of, the pumps, a couple tin cables, some electronic circuits, and 3 pieces of glass. I have some glass. It's in here. Let's just grab a little bit, throw it in here, top this up, and we should be able to make one. There we go. We don't need 4 of them. And then another one I wanted to make after that, we're gonna need to set this up in order to make it. We might not make it in this episode, but is the arc furnace. This thing will save you time for making wrought iron. This, you can make wrought iron just by throwing iron ingots in it or iron dust. And then there's actually a neat little trick to make steel quicker with the EBF if you do that. If you throw wrought iron in there instead of iron, it will smelt faster for steel. So if you're like in a hurry, throw some through your arc furnace, get some wrought iron, and then I think you have to grind it down into dust first and then throw it into the EBF, and it'll process it a lot faster than it would before. I thought that was actually pretty neat reading that. We could make it besides the graphite cells. I have the tin cables because I made extras of those. The only thing I need would be the graphite cell. And yeah, we just need the canner to be able to make that. We put a piece of graphite dust in it and a cell, and you get a graphite cell. So that's actually pretty cool. But we will probably do that in the next one. For now, we have a canning machine so we can make batteries. So we need to set this up. I don't know if this is going to be close enough for now for our quick demonstration purposes, but we're going to try it. But it's 2 dust to 1 battery case to make a battery. So we'll be able to make 3 for now until I get more of the stuff centrifuged. But if we come into here, we should be able to pop that in. It's taking 2 EU. Oh, cool. This will definitely work. And this gives us lithium batteries. And that's another quest completed. I don't know where, but that's another quest completed. In storing and transforming, right here, is battery alloy, which we got. Apparently that's a shared quest because it didn't give us more stuff. So this one you get a choice reward: 2 more lithium, 4 battery alloy, like some tin cables, or a loot bag. I'm gonna pick the lithium dust because stuff is not the best ratio, honestly. And now batteries work pretty much the same in a battery buffer as in regular machines' battery slot. Battery buffers are used to buffer power to stabilize output. Come in different sizes: 1, 4, 9, and 16 slots. They can draw 2 amps and output 1 amp per battery inserted. Watch your wire amperage. Cables come in 1x, 2x, 4x, 8x, 12x, and 16x with 10 transferring 1 amp per size. Make sure not to mess up or your cable will melt, becoming a fire and possibly an explosion. Remember that there's loss when outputting EU from any GT machine, so putting 4 slot ones in a row loses 8 power compared to 2 from 1 16 slot one. And this is for every amp too. Okay. You can import batteries into one, but only empty acid batteries can be exported from one. No, you can't get around this. Okay. So you can't charge these in here? Yeah, well, you can. That's what I thought. So if you want to charge them, you can charge them into here. It would go faster if I would put it probably on the one directly connected to it. So if I put it into here, it might go a little quicker. So we can pull the full 32 without any loss. This I'm gonna have to recomplete, but that's fine. It's because I waited to show you guys this. I still have a bunch that's in the miner that I moved it. The first spot I tried was not the best spot, so I barely got anything. But it was enough to at least get this done, which is cool. But now that we have that, we can make a soldering iron. And that is what we need to fix this all the way, so we don't need to make another energy hatch. Otherwise, we will need to make 1 more energy hatch, which we don't really want to do. So if you look at a soldering iron, it's an LV Gregtech soldering iron is what we're gonna need. I believe there's iron ones. It looks like you could even stick it on a stick, which is wild. Probably do an iron bolt on a, maybe not iron. Tin alloy dust. What is tin alloy dust? So tin plates, if you melt tin plates, you get tin alloy. Or iron ingot and tin dust gives you 2 in an alloy smelter. Iron or tin gives you 2. So yeah, iron and tin in an alloy smelter is what we need to do. That's fine. We have some of that. This should give us our tin alloy. Might not be the best for a soldering iron, but you know what? So be it. Put a rod in there. Saw should be down here somewhere. It's like the one tool I haven't used in a little while now. I was using them consistently making the build. I have enough blocks made now. I don't really need to make a bunch at the moment. Okay, so we got our, oh yeah, we don't want to make screws. We want the bolt. So we take a bolt. Let's just throw it on a steel rod, I guess. This would be some weird, wacky one, but who cares? And then it takes a screwdriver, a file, a rubber sheet, and a battery. So battery, a rubber sheet, a screwdriver, and a file. Okay, that does not work with that combination. We would try an iron rod. Yep. And that gives us an LV soldering iron. And that is in the multi-block quest. So it's actually right here below the EBF. This took me a little minute to find. I'm going to grab the soldering alloy just because it's going to help us fix this real quick. And be able to finish this. Because I'm not sure how to make this stuff yet. Sounds like it's not too bad to make, but we will see. So I don't think you put it in the soldering iron itself. You just, it takes it from you. Need soldering materials in inventory. So yeah, as long as you have it in your inventory, it'll be fine. Oh yeah, maintenance hatch we moved up front. So if we open this, click this on here, we are good to go. Move this off mallet to restart the machine if it doesn't start. Okay. So I think it is good to go. So we can actually connect up to these now. I think we are set. We can actually try and reconnect this now. Let's hope we did this right. So 2 LV hatches. They're both going to get 2 amps. The cables are oversized, but that won't really harm anything that I'm aware of. It could be oversized there. It's only going to push so much power anyway. Doesn't have 4 amps to push, so it shouldn't be an issue. So let's try this. Oh yeah. We need wire cutters. We didn't blow up. And we did it. We officially have an EBF. Now, in order to use it though, we want to melt aluminum. I think we have to throw raw aluminum in there. We have cryolite because I got that in the silver vein with the lead in the Twilight Forest. So, oh yeah, if we stick this stuff in a compressor, we'll get the aluminum. So we got to stick our aluminum dust in. We want to do that, but it sounds like we can use our alumina dust and that cryolite dust and do it that way too. We have a little bit of aluminum dust though. It wants 8 ingots. So if we come over here, we need to find our compressor. I'm just gonna do it in this one. Actually, no, if we're gonna do 8, might as well do it in the big one because that's what we need to do it in the big one. Raw aluminum, perfect. So this will pop out as that weird Tinker's aluminum, and that we can just smelt directly in here. There it is. We need to hold the alumina dust still. I haven't actually held it, I guess, long enough for this quest. Okay, yeah, now it wants the ingots. So we need to start cooking these, and it shouldn't be too bad. It looks like we take our input hatch. That's the liquid amount. So the input hatch that it wanted in the middle, I'm probably gonna end up bringing it up here somewhere. Maybe put it up or back here, because right now it's underneath it the way that the diagram says to do it, which is just silly. I'll automate it because we should be able to automate this one. You can't automate the blast furnace, apparently. The bricked blast furnace, I don't know why. But if we come into our input bus, should be able to, I don't know if we could do a bunch at once, but if we take this and it says put it in your blast furnace on a 1 circuit, you'll get it without anything. So all we got to scroll down. Boom. Cool. And now it should be cooking us some aluminum. I'm definitely going to have to connect some pipes to this and automate this so we have a way to reach that. But I might actually move it up still. We have options now that we know it's actually working. But heck yeah, we have our EBF. Gosh, that was a process to set up, but I'm glad we got it figured out. Definitely don't do what I did and make the ULV hatches and waste a ton of time and resources blowing it all up over and over trying to figure out what's happening, because it wasn't worth it. But it looks like we finished our first aluminum. I cannot wait. That is super exciting. This is great. This is going to change a lot of things for us. We can make steel faster. We might even be able to get rid of this if we make some more of these and automate them. We could probably get rid of the brick blast furnace and actually do everything with power now. So that'd be kind of neat. I hope you guys learned something. This was definitely the struggle to get this figured out. We finally did it, and we got ourselves an EBF. We're gonna grab this aluminum when it's done and turn this in. And yeah, that was a long one. Gosh, have a lot of editing to do. I hope you guys don't mind that this one is a bit longer, because it was definitely some trial and error for me. I was trying to watch some stuff and figure it out at the same time, and it was just, yeah, you need to stay focused when you're playing. Read the quest book thoroughly. It does explain stuff. It may not show you always the stuff you want to use or necessarily need to use, but it usually tells you, at least for the most part, pretty accurately what's going on. So definitely read into it quite a bit. It's pretty descriptive on everything, so it does help quite a bit. So is the wiki. The wiki always has some good answers, and the community is a great place to always ask around too. Thankfully, I figured this one out on my own, just sitting here reading the quest book, and I figured out it was those dang ULV hatches. Definitely don't use them. That's all for this one. We definitely went over on our time, so I apologize. I hope you learned something. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you'd smash that like and subscribe button so I can keep you notified for the next video when it comes out and see what we make next. We have quite a few options now that we can look into, so this will change everything for us. Yeah, so I will see you guys next time. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye.